We have seen plenty of remakes in the recent years, and more are on the way. It's a great way to upgrade these classic games, improve gameplay mechanics, refine the overall presentation, and make money from nostalgia. Some remakes can be hit and miss, but I chose the 7 best remakes you should play right now. I might have skipped some, and you might not agree with this list, but hey, seeing different opinions on games is where the fun is at, right? Without further ado, let's start. Before I get into my list, I want to give an honorable mention to The Last of Us Part 1, the PS5 visual remake of my favorite game, The Last of Us. Was it a necessary remake? No, but it was still a good one, especially for newcomers who haven't played the original PS3 game. I do think the definitive edition of the game is the remastered version of the PS4, and it still holds up as it looks amazing, plays well, and is a highlight of the PS3/PS4 era. But this remake brings the game closer to the visual delight of a sequel that is Last of Us Part 2. At the beginning of this year, I have played both Part 1 and Part 2 back to back, and I gotta say, the gameplay and the visuals definitely transition perfectly. So, if you have a PS5 and don't want to play the PS3 or the PS4 era remastered version, this remake is the way to go. Okay, now, let's begin the real list. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is one of those games that sticks with you long after you finish it. Not because it has a deep emotional story, but because of how well made, charming, and fun to play it is. Being a remake of the Game Boy era game from 1993, this version brings the adventure to life with a beautiful, toy-like art style that looks like something out of a handcrafted diorama. And I was completely in love with this style even when I saw the reveal trailer. It's honestly one of the most visually unique remakes I have ever seen. What makes Link's Awakening so special is that it perfectly captures that old school Zelda magic while still feeling fresh and modern. The world design is compact and layered with secrets, puzzles, and clever dungeons that remind you why Zelda became such an iconic series in the first place. Even though it's one of the most kid-friendly Zelda games, it still offers plenty of challenge and depth for older players like me. Nintendo really showed how to remake a classic game without losing what made it great. It respects the original while improving it in every possible way. The updated visuals, smoother gameplay, and the sheer charm of the world make Link's Awakening a must-play for any gamer. I remember Sony showed off Demon's Souls Remake when they used to have those amazing PlayStation showcases when the PS5 was coming out. Demon's Souls was a console launch exclusive and developed by Bluepoint, the masters of remakes and remasters. I'm gonna be honest here, Souls-like games aren't my jam, so I didn't play this game until it came to PS Plus library, and then I had to try it. And let me tell you, this is an amazing remake. What they have achieved with the graphics is just stunning. Every shadow, fire effect, and armor reflection makes the world feel alive in its haunting way. But what impressed me the most was how it managed to modernize the gameplay without losing the essence of the original game. The movement feels smoother, the combat is weightier, and yet the challenge that defines a Souls game is still intact. It's more accessible for sure, but still brutal and rewarding in that classic FromSoft way. Demon's Souls still captures that original game's feel and elevates it to something timeless. Okay, I'm gonna cheat here and add Resident Evil 1, 2, 3 and 4 remakes on this list as a big package of games. I mean, I have to, right? The remakes of all the Resident Evil games have been either great or amazing. Yes, RE1 Remake on the GameCube is an old game compared to 2, 3 and 4, but it is without a doubt one of the best remakes ever made. It was revolutionary at the time and it still holds up to this day. The dialogue and the graphical overhaul makes it seem like a PS4 era game, and it is so much fun to play. Now, the remakes of 2, 3 and 4 are the modern remake styles Capcom have been doing lately. Using their spectacular RE engine, they brought the old classic games to life for the modern gen. Resident Evil 2 Remake is the reason that made me a big fan of the Resident Evil games. I will never forget that experience I had playing 2. The claustrophobic setting of RCPD set the tone so well for that game. Bringing in the third-person view for the gameplay was a brilliant move from Capcom. People complain about 3, but like I always say, I don't care, I think it's a super fun and an underrated game. It was more action heavy and showed off a different side of the Raccoon City outbreak. I will always defend Resident Evil 3 Remake. Resident Evil 4 Remake on the other hand, like 2, is amazing. I played the original on the PS2 and seeing it brought back for modern generation consoles with breathtaking visuals but still keeping the tongue-in-cheek tone was an amazing achievement. Resident Evil remakes are definitely well worth your time and definitely some of the best remakes out there. Shadow of the Colossus, another Bluepoint game in this list. This PS4 remake of the classic PS2 game is straight up brilliant. I have never played the PS2 version, but I did watch a lot of gameplay videos so I can see how influential and groundbreaking it was for the time. I did in fact play the PS4 version, and it is in fact a groundbreaking experience on the PS4 as well. Wow, like Demon's Souls, Bluepoint knew what they were doing. Playing this game really felt like experiencing the original's vision in its most perfect form. Bluepoint absolutely nailed it. Every time you ride across those empty fields with nothing but the wind and your horse's footsteps echoing, it hits you just how powerful minimalism in game design can be. Then, when you finally encounter a Colossus, dude, the sheer sense of awe is just unmatched. These creatures feel massive, majestic, and tragic all at once. It's one of those games that makes you feel both small and significant at the same time. Like Demon's Souls, Bluepoint proved once again that they're the masters of remakes, and Shadow of the Colossus is absolutely worth playing, whether you're revisiting it or experiencing it for the first time. I could have chosen Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, cheat like how I cheated with the Resident Evil games, but I will actually choose Remake for this list. Even though Rebirth is my favorite out of the two, I chose Remake because how mesmerizing it was at the time. This game was anticipated for so long, and man, to see it remade in this fashion was something else. We knew what to expect from Rebirth because of Remake, but we had no idea how good Remake was going to be. The new gameplay mechanics with the active time battles, the legendary characters brought to life, the visuals of everything, the tone and the music solidified this game as one of my favorite remakes ever. I have played the original, and yes, they did change quite a bit of stuff, but for me, it just works. By the end, you realize it is more of a requel, a word I use for sequel and a remake, than a one-to-one remake. But still, seeing these iconic locations and the storyline play out in this fashion was what made me a Final Fantasy fan. So the simple answer is, go and play this game now, and jump into Rebirth after finishing Remake. Two amazing video games are just waiting for you.
The light will return, of that I am sure.
Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake.
I have recently started playing Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, and it caught me completely off guard. I have never played the original version, but after seeing the reveal and eventually diving into this new version, I was genuinely blown away by how beautifully this game recaptures that classic version. Using the same HD 2D style that Square Enix popularized with games like Octopath Traveler, the world of Dragon Quest III feels nostalgic yet completely fresh. The mix of pixel art with modern lighting and effects makes every location look like a living painting, and that was one of the standout things to me. I would just stare at the screen in awe. Even as someone new to the original and the series, I could feel the charm and the spirit that made Dragon Quest such a legendary series. The turn-based combat feels classic but polished, like speeding up the combat pace. The animations are fluid, and the sense of adventure is as strong as ever. It's rare to see a remake that feels this lovingly crafted. You can really tell the developers truly cared about the legacy of the series, and the future of Dragon Quest games being remade has just started. The last game I want to talk about for this list is...
I don't need you anymore. I'm ready.
Silent Hill 2 Remake wasn't what I expected. Even when I heard that Bluebird team were making the PS2 classic, I wasn't sure what to think of it. Their past games were hit and miss, with mostly being mediocre games, but I really want to see what they would do with a Silent Hill game. And then that first reveal trailer came out. It looks so disappointing, and I thought, wow, this looks like a pointless remake. But once the reviews came in when the game got released, and when I played it, goddamn was it an amazing experience. Bluepoint team nailed what made Silent Hill 2 Silent Hill. They understood the assignment and delivered at every aspect. The visuals are great, the characters are faithful, the combat is minimal, but that's what it should be. The scares made me pause the game more times than I would like to admit, but the most important of all is that they got the tone right. Seeing this nightmare fuel of a game in a modern gen visuals felt like a fever dream. I was captivated from start to finish. Now, I'm a massive fan of Bluepoint team and cannot wait for what they're going to do with the Silent Hill 1 remake. So, this was my list of 7 best video game remakes. I am sure there are more that I have missed, or you thought that there should be more added to the list, but to me, these games are the best. Let me know down below, which games have the best remakes for you? And what other remakes would you like to see? Personally, a remake of Dino Crisis is definitely up there for me, but I would also love to see Final Fantasy VIII and 9 remade in the same fashion as 7. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone on the next video.